Hey, good evening, Ebusafo. We're there. You're joining me on the think tank, and my name is Kwame. Uh-huh. Tene, Baba Bon Komo Kakra. So the first 30 minutes of this program, no, we're just going to talk about Nyoma Ekoso, Ghana, Sisia Ekoso, the life of an average Ghanaian. This year, no, although say if you compare it to next year, I think crime has actually reduced a little bit, but the amount of violent crimes, me assure say if you're listening to the news in Ghana right now, you've already heard armed robbery, especially which is it's not new in Ghana for people to carry arms in robberies or in committing crimes, but for the criminals to actually kill people in the crime, especially kill policemen in the crime, right? It's something that is creeping into our society. First, na bibi sa na ebe chom no bo nso mebo mu di na ekechuku ni sa na no so me Nigeria for. It was very hard for you to meet Ghanaians who are actually committing armed robberies with guns and killing their victims. But as I say, it's on the rise. And Pacho, if you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up or something like that on the screen. But it is going on right now. And look as if say either our police cannot cope. It's not either. The police cannot actually cope with it. It's happening so frequently. Just last week, from last week to this week, there've been so many robberies going on Ghana TV, and their CCTVs capturing images of these people, and yet still we don't hear anything about it. There was that two armed robberies in Kumasi, one actually in Bantama where I lived before. Bantama is a highly populated area. Bantama never sleeps, and this happened in broad daylight. Broad daylight, and people were filming it. Cameras captured it. There was about 3 of them or 4 of them in Accra, most of them in broad daylight. And then there was the gruesome one where a policeman was shot through the head. And an innocent bystander, I think it was a woman who saw the chaos and ran to her room, and a stray bullet found a way all the way to her room, shot her, and she died. And you think about, say, the CCTV all around. And I think about 2 years ago, the government actually borrowed a huge sum of money to buy CCTVs to put around the whole nation, all because of this crime nation. And we don't know whether they've been activated or not, because all these CCTV videos that we have right now are from private individuals, private people having their own private CCTVs in their houses or place of business. So, as usual, the the journalists, try to find out what the police are doing about it, because it's quite rampant nowadays. It's happening all the time. And typical Ghanaian government. when the police decided to go and interview the IGP, say, IGP, this is what is going on. It's quite becoming too rampant. Robberies everywhere, and we don't see police capturing these robbers and all that. So, and can you be in a radio station and can then from the same crowd, national security will be there. national security or weapons, including garden fork and trolls. They'll be there capturing the person. But this happens and happens and happens, and we don't see anything. So what do you think about it? And I'm not going to speak for the IGP. I'll let the IGP speak for himself.
There's no society in the world where there's no crime. Even in the US, in the UK, Sweden, and all those countries where I would say they more or less have everything, they still have crime. The only place that doesn't have crime is heaven, and we are not in heaven. So if any so-called security analysis says that we're not on top of our game, that's why this is not happening. I mean, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I mean, we all heard him. The IGP said Ghana is not heaven, and heaven is the only place where there's no crime. So, if you're a Ghanaian and you want to live in a crime-free country, in a crime-free place, sorry about that. My camera is very clumsy. It's not helping, but IGP said the only place where there's no crime is heaven. So if you're a Ghanaian and you want to live in a peaceful society where there's no crime, you better die. Die and go to heaven. We're going to make sure it's why Papa, because if you're not, when you're Papa, you're not going to go to heaven. So that's what the IGP is saying. The only place where there's no crime. And have you wondered, say, anytime something goes on in Ghana and authorities are asked, if it's a bad thing like this crime, or something happens and it's a bad thing that people are complaining about, what the authorities will always do is compare Ghana, compare our situation to like first world countries like US and the UK and Europe. Say, you know what, you can, even in the US it happens. But when we are complaining about water and electricity, and our pay, they never compare to those places. They never say, oh, I mean, the US, the light is on all the time, so maybe we should do better. David. They always complain. The bad things that happen in those countries, and they be an idiot comparison. So I say, in the US, even in the US, there's crime. So if there's crime in Ghana, nobody should talk about it. Ghana for Musempa. There's crime in the US. So if a policeman not wearing a bulletproof vest, he's holding an old AK-47, sitting in a van, just a van. It's just a pickup truck with a cage at the back. It's not bulletproof. As a matter of fact, I'll find a picture whilst I talk, and then I'll show you. I'm not going to show you the gruesome picture. Don't worry. And Ghanaian media, please, we've had Ghanaian media in Ghanaian hands for at least 60 plus years. So showing people, especially policeman dying in the line of duty with his brains all blown all over in the car. You're showing, I think I heard that one of the newspapers actually put that picture on front page. That is ridiculous. But guess what? We'll come back as a Ghana for you. So this kid, I'm not sure he's even past 35, was shot in the head in a car that provided him with no protection, but restrains his movement because it was like a Toyota pickup truck. No bulletproof, nothing. And he's holding an AK-47. And actually, there's a policeman that was interviewed and was complaining about the weapons. These weapons that were procured are like old weapons from like the US or the UK or anywhere they can get it, that the military or the police have discarded. So they go, whoever is in charge of this contract, I'm sure will take enough money to buy new weapons, but will come and get these old ones at a very cheap price, keep most of the money and bring it to the police. And they actually just sit in that. So the armed robbers came in with more sophisticated weapons, newer weapons, and attacked this pickup truck, shot the policeman, shot the driver, shot the bystander, and took the money, and on the motorbike just rode away. Broad daylight. And it's not even on bush. This happened right in the center of town. Wow. And you ask yourself, what kind of country are we building right now? Let me show you. Jesus Christ. Oh man, it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, for the IGP, one of your boys have been shot in the head. Mostly your problem because you didn't provide him with enough weapons and enough protection. Sitting in a car full of money with no security features. And when asked about it, your answer was that Ghana is not heaven. Okay, we're here. So you ask yourself, like, this is the kid, young, very young kid, part of the SWAT team, and you just put him out there just for target practice. He was shot, and I wish I could find pictures of the car that he was sitting in. And trust me, this is not the first time. I think this year, like late last year, there was the same attack on the same type of pickup truck last year that another policeman was shot dead, and the money was taken. The driver was also shot, and the money was taken from the truck. And you think, sir, they'll do something about it. They didn't. And that's happened again. And the IGP's response is just, let me show you the truck. As a matter of fact, I think I have it here. The IGP said, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Ghana is not heaven. It's not heaven. So if you expect, and first of all, I wonder. I mean, I live in the UK a little bit. The police don't have guns because, I mean, to get for an individual to own a gun in the UK, I mean, it's almost impossible. The things they will take you through. So the police, apart from the SWAT team, do not go around with carrying guns. I think they only carry a taser. But in the US, almost all the policemen have a sidearm, right? In Ghana, what I've realized is that the policeman is just either without a gun or holds an AK-47. And there's so many funny stories about policemen trying to cock their guns and it will jam. Of course, it's a jam because these these guns they procure for their boys are all like they are all already used guns. Eh? I mean fools guns, already used guns, Bruni Wewu guns. They'll buy it and give it to these boys and put them out there, with no bulletproof vest, nothing. I was trying to find this one, but I found the one that I think happened last year. And like I just Googled it, Ghana and bullion van attacks, and like their pictures, like a lot of pictures, and they're just pickup trucks, And let me show you this one. This is the one that happened in I think Tichiman about last year or something like that. This is just a pickup truck. All right, you see the blood in there? Let me hide that. Should have warned you. This is the same one that a kid was shot in. One of them, same thing. Just a pickup truck, normal pickup truck, and you can see the bullet holes in the truck. Easy. So it's like you're inviting these armed robbers to just go and rob the trucks. Because our Ghanaian authorities, they don't care much about what we go through. I mean, look at the answer he gave, and he knows he's going to get away with it, so he doesn't care about it. Jesus Christ. And that's just number one. Number two, how was it? I hope you join me sometime during the program. And number two is the infamous jets. I don't know if you've heard about this, but I'm going to tell you this. This is so funny. All right. Ghana has a presidential jet. It's called the Falcon 900. It's actually a very nice jet. It's not bad. It's a private jet that the president of Ghana uses. I think I have a picture of that, so I'll show you that. It's the Falcon 900. It works pretty well. And let me see, Falcon 900 ES. That's it. Yep. Let me show you that. That is a airplane like all presidents use in Ghana. Let me show you a picture of that before I go on. So this is it. This is the 900 EX. And the story behind that is that about 12 years ago, the president of Ghana decided that the private jet that we had, I think it was an older one, bought by a champion in the 70s. He made a famous speech about it and called it a flying coffin. So the parliament gave him money and he bought this jet. Okay. This is a very nice small jet. I mean, good enough for a country like Ghana. We are not a rich country. So as a auto the whatever. You have to cut your cloth according to your coat or your size. So this is what we bought. It's a pretty nice jet. And it has the capacity to take up to about, I think, 15 people, including the pilot and the co-pilot. So this is what it is. It's not bad. I mean, for a country like Ghana, it's a pretty decent jet. It's got like 2 couches on the side. If you want to rest, you can actually convert this to a bed. and the president and his entourage can sit here and have a meeting, and they've got a microwave on board and all that. So that's what they've been using all the time. And I'm giving you this background because I'm going to tell you about the reason why they hired a new jet. So this jet can travel up to about 9 hours or 9.5 hours non-stop before it can fuel. So it travels 9 hours, stops, fuel, and it can travel another 9 hours. Okay. President Kufuor was the guy who bought it. President Mills and President John Mahama also used it. All right. And it can take up to about 11 people, excluding the pilots. And the guys at the cockpit. And like I told you, it travels about 9 hours. And John Mahama actually used it to go to France. Wherever he traveled, it was the one that he used. And it was, if the president was traveling to a place like when he's coming to UN, where his entourage, he's coming with every minister that wants to come or every MP it brings a big entourage, about 100 people or something like that. Something that, we the citizens try to discourage them from doing. What they do is that all the other people that are not close, like people that are not very vital to the president, will take a commercial flight, and the president will use his jet. Or if there are too many of them that can fill the plane, they will just all charter one full plane, and all the guests can be in it. Okay. So fast forward, Akufo-Addo was using this jet for a little bit. But, a few weeks ago, the president, and the irony of this whole thing is that the president decided to go to France and Belgium to go and beg Okwako Pacho, say, all the money that we've borrowed from the World Bank and the European Union and all those places, he's going to beg them for all those loans to be forgiven, which is highly unlikely, but that's what he was going to do. Okopacho said, "Busana ya boni nyina no sroma omonfa China yinisika idibitia." So that's what he was going to do. And secondly, after saying that, he's going to borrow 175 million, and just put that amount of money in your head, 175 million from them. So a beggar, nipa Okopacho, ukosrisika. So just he went, instead of flying the Falcon, this jet. The president said, well, it's not a president, it's actually the Minister of Defense or Interior, Nitiwo. They asked him, like, why the president did not use the jet. And the reason why they asked him is that the president opted for this jet, which is the okay. The president went out, the G-Kelt, he went out and hired this jet, okay? This jet costs a minimum of 15,000 pounds. Okay, let me convert that to dollars so that, I'll speak in your language. 15,000 pounds sterling, pounds to US dollars. Whoa, okay. It costs 20,900. Let me put it here so that, this is how much it costs. $20,908 every hour. And that excludes the the pilots and everything. I mean, you have to pay for their hotels anytime they are resting. You have to pay for them to fly the plane to you and pay for them to leave the plane. Excluding all that, it's going to cost you $20,900 every hour. Okay. The president hired this plane while the Falcon was sitting at home. Nothing wrong with the Falcon. And his reason, according to the Minister for Interior, or the Minister for Defense, Nitu, the reason why the president decided to hire this, that is going to cost us 2.8 million Ghana cedis, conservatively, excluding all the other costs, excluding the taxes, excluding the hangar fees, where the hangar is where to go park the plane, excluding the crew, the people who are going to fly the plane and take care of the plane. You got to pay for put them in a hotel, high security hotel, because they are flying at the president. And this crew, Acropolis Aviation, insists that you use their own crew. They're not going to allow you to use any other crew by their own crew. So this, so he used this, and the reason was that first, the president has a bigger entourage, unlike the other presidents. So this plane takes up to, I think, 17 people. So he rather take 17 people, so minus the crew, which is like 2 or 3, let's say, or 15. Let's be generous and say. So he's going to need 4 more people on the plane. So 15 instead of 11. The Falcon only takes 11. Secondly, the Falcon, this aeroplane, which is quite similar, this aeroplane is not comfortable enough. Thirdly, the Falcon, well, I said the first one was the the crew. Like, the president rules with so many people that they're not going to fit in an 11-seater. So they wanted a 15-seater. That's fair. Secondly, the Falcon stops at every 6 hours to refuel, which they don't want to do, and that's a big lie. The Falcon goes up to about 9 hours. And even if it's 6 hours, from Ghana to France is a little less than 6 hours. So he wasn't going to stop on the way to get to France. It was a direct flight. And then he said, the funny part is that the Falcon, although it has a washroom, does not have a bath. President needs to take a shower so that he could take a shower in the plane, gets down, and walks straight into his meeting, without going to the hotel. So that's why they have. But Ghanaians are all focused on the bathhouse. That the president was a jacuzzi in the air. So because of that, they packed the Falcon and then went and got this, which is, pretty luxurious. Play a little video. Let me be a little mischievous. And play a little video so that you can all see. So that's the jet the president went with. Pretty nice. Into another queer back on I'm Chemuchi. Falcon na a presidential jet na yapto etia carry no. And no, I find it part 11. It's 11 is president nipa no person de omokono on babro 11. It's okofa the nipa 15 to hear nipa extra 4. Now second in the Falcon no. It to be 6 hours be I will say Gina. na a refuel obu gas for it, you know, another hard. It's bad for security also. It, you know, that's the shower. It, you know, President Charlie, this is a nice shower. It, President, you know, it be here aeroplane air non-stop. But funny enough, from Ghana to Paris, it's less than 6 hours. It, you know, he wasn't going to stop anywhere. But by the way, from there, you know, the president is going to travel to South Africa. And South Africa from France is about 11 hours. So I think that's where the contention is. But if you wanted to save money, you can no episode save Sika. So he's not going to, he was going to fly the Falcon. He could have easily flown from France, from Paris to Accra, refuel in Ghana, and then fly from Ghana to South Africa. It's about like 4.5 hours. Simple, isn't it? So ask them, need to say, President said, so take a shower. And some of our meetings. Now Falcon I want a shower ni. It, you know, Sadia, I was set a high private jets. Private jets, since you don't high any private jet, we are costing £15,000, which is almost $21,000 an hour. Need to be Bitcoin. And the irony of the whole thing, they say, "Quite out to know what was saying." Or Kwakobosano, I say, Bosana, a dinner won't find chain. That's why he's traveling. I mean, this is incredibly reckless. It's so careless, say, me don't crime and test it. You know, and I think, say, when I say the government of Ghana, I don't mean any party. All people who sit on that seat, all governments of Ghana, we try not to be partisan. The thing said, the thing said, the thing said they can do anything and get away with it because we are dormant. And the Ghanaians are so meek, say, Obia or power Bia things he can go. Let me tell you this story about Aesop. Aesop is a prolific Greek short story writer. And he wrote a story about a lamb and a wolf. So this lamb was sitting somewhere, giant back, and he was sitting, he was drinking water. On so it was stream. So na wolf be peer. Wolf sacrament. Let's say Kramer, peer. The wolf was very, very angry with this lamb, but onim no baby, the lamb didn't know him from anywhere. So Obisan said, Mr. Wolf, why are you so angry at me? Mr. Wolf said, oh, na say una tia unum so you know, you're muddying the water for me whilst I'm drinking. So I'm drinking the water, it's all mud coming from you, and it's all because of you. And the lamb said, you know what, Mr. Wolf, you came from up there. You are upstream and I'm downstream. So how come me drinking this water downstream muddied your water upstream? It's just impossible. So kind of wolf knows no we didn't question. And I wolf say, okay, you forget about the water. Last year, when I was drinking water, somebody was muddying it, and I think it's you, since you are the one who's been drinking this water. And Lamb said, oh, Mr. Wolf, I'm only 4 months old. Your woman, I feel I made it 4 months. And you know, how could it have been me muddying your water last year? And you're possible 1 year crime indeed. I don't say then if it's not you, I'm sure it was your father, a better papa. Any this abonnement. And she couldn't say, no. See, my dad is a breeder. Me akra me shane that. So they take all the lady sheep, take it somewhere in another town, and he breeds with them, and then they bring them back and they have baby. The papa cry on teha. I don't want to say a young papa and a blue soul. So wolf from the dream who has small back. I say, okay, you know what? Wo nra the bia me hide in. Nra me daso and they show me how far. Who say una obi nra ni nyina. So, you know, if it's not the water, you've been chewing the grass that I've been hiding in. Oh, Charlie, I'm only 4 months. I'm sick crying for fear. So how can I chew grass? One wolf is there and a cry mirror. And the wolf ate the sheep. The moral of the story said, the strong will always take what they want, irrespective of the reason. Whether they have a reason or not, they take what they want. And that's what these people are doing. Now, they are telling us Ghanaians, say, whatever we say, whether it was reasonable or not reasonable, if the president feels like taking a private jet, although he has a jet, for comfort and for shower, he will take it. And there ain't nothing you can say about it. This IGP that I showed you, if we were in any jurisdiction, he would have resigned. And the president will pick up the phone and tell us, even Nitu, the guy who came to give the excuse that the president took that plane because he needed a shower. Anywhere else, I mean, there were so many excuses. You could have even lied, which he could not, because I think you could have given any other excuse apart from the shower part. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Apart from the shower part, but they don't care. They don't make a BI hold because 50% of Ghanaians will support them, irrespective. So, what these governments and these political parties in Ghana has been able to do is what America and all those countries are trying to do right now. They've been able to take a sharp knife and cut Ghanaian opinions into two equal opposing sides. So Ghanaians cannot come together and do anything because you can't fix the country, As 50% of the Ghanaians are supporting the fix the country, we get other 50% with an opposing view that fix yourself first before we fix the country. And these guys are saying fix the country first before we can fix ourselves. So they will do at the end of the day, the government is not even going to just put his hands behind his back and watch us fight. Aeroplane, I have not seen any opposing views yet. But up to China, they will send your goons on the internet and they'll start making noise. So see how all these things are happening. They just throw in something. Obviously, terrorists are going to attack us from our northern borders. And what they're going to do is that's a lie. Even if that's not a lie, that's the case of national security that I think you shouldn't be out there. But they're just going to, some scare tactics, just going to throw something even more scarier than what is happening to us right now. For us to talk about that instead, how does they get away with this bullion van and this plane scandal? Back to the bullion van. I think about 2 years ago when another policeman and a driver were shot dead in Techiman with the same pickup truck and full of money by armed robbers. The police said they confronted the banks and said, you know what? If you're not going to go into the market and buy proper bullion vans, to transport your money. Yeah? We are not going to give you policemen to escort the money, because what's going to happen to them is that they're going to get killed and you're going to lose your money. So we're not going to be part of that. You know what the bank said? The bank said, oh, we can do that, but bullion vans are very expensive. So give us up to, I think they said 2025 or something like that for us to buy. But until then, just bring your guys. If they die, they die. And the police obliged. And I think from last year up to now, about 3 or 4 policemen have been shot in the same circumstances in a pickup truck full of money. Yeah, I had to say, wako bebre jamwa cats bebre wo, and then wafa fresh meat, and you put it on something, put it tied to a rope, and start dragging it through the town full of cats. And when you get to the end of the town and you turn around and there's no meat or tied to your rope, you start complaining. See, that's the problem. Overreaction too is one of the best traits of Ghanaians. As soon as this kid was shot, and Ghanaians started on the internet being angry and talking about it, guess what the police solutions to this problem is? Instead of forcing the banks to buy bullion vans, guess what the police want to do? The police says, okay, now we told the banks to have bullion vans, they can't get it. So what we're going to do is that we're going to start building helicopter hangars all over the place. And then we go out and go purchase helicopters, choppers for Americans. Buy choppers and use the choppers to transfer the money. Bullion van to be helicopter. So any opportunity for those people to make money. See, because of this, a big program, and now they're going to go out there to get a big loan to try build helicopter hangars, train pilots, do feasibility studies, buy helicopters. By the time I'm married, about 5 years, now the police for 1,000 instead of forcing the banks to buy the bullion vans, or make it easy for security companies to buy and import bullion vans. As a matter of fact, Kantanka is producing bullion vans. Why don't you try one? This is ridiculous. Now they want to buy helicopters. I'm just saying, I'm better helicopters. Let me see whether I can find a video of the IGP saying just to say that. Now they've realized the banks and they have their own better bullion vans. And because of that, almost they are not ready to buy the bullion vans. It's the same, they are going to hire helicopters. I'm going to helicopters. But before they do that, there's some mere feasibility studies. And then they can build, before they buy the helicopters, they have to go around building hangars all over the place. Now we have how many? It used to be 10 regions. I think now it's like 14 or something, or 15 regions. Yeah, they have to build hangars all around. And then they'll go and purchase helicopters to transfer money from bank to bank. Oh, Charlie, Ghana is almost a banana republic. I swear that, Charlie. Can try and explain this to your child, to your like 10-year-old child that want to America. Try and explain the logic in this. Try and explain it to him. Say, that episode told Ben so now so nisi council. And it is a say my new plan is this. Can I mean to be in Ben so my new plan is to say I will set the copper land. Let me see garage. Baako wɔ Charlotte, baako wɔ New York, baako wɔ Ohio. Eh? Mewie a na makɔtɔ Bentley. No, Benz class. That episode to Toyota. Me TV to Toyota. Me could see garages three. Baako New York, baako Charlotte, baako Cincinnati. Na ebia baako Phoenix, Arizona. Mewie a na makɔtɔ Bentley. Yeah, sure, say I know about what. That's it. I'm trying to buy the Toyota now. Basically, that's what they are telling us. So, Bullion van Omuti enter the same on hangers. Meaning, say if the military guys are here, I don't know whether helicopter parking space they call them hangers. But I'm parking helicopters. They want to be brave. Now, Omusi we are. Omuti we are. I'm not going to helicopters. I'm going to transfer Sikano. In 2 minutes, I think we can do this. Charlie Ghana there, we're just a bunch of jokers, man. At time, and Madame was, why do you like Ghanaians? Thank you, thank you, Obaya. Some person see hangers all over. Well, why do Ghanaians in abroad are always talking about things in Ghana and like look as if they care about Ghana more than we do. Even the diaspora, like the African Americans, kind of care more about Ghana than we do. And so the problem is that when you're living in Ghana, you don't have anything to compare it to. But if you go to other countries and you see how easy they've put these systems together, and the system is working seamlessly, they have their problems, but the easy ones, it's not going to happen. Like say police, any life jacket, it's not money bulletproof. It's not going to happen in the US. Let's listen to that.
Function as a unit of the police force to provide effective policing.
To ensure the effective production of our services, some new units have been created. The air wing, in fact, the hangar has been completed. We are just awaiting the arrival of the helicopters. We have a new unit, a K9 unit, to help our investigation, our crowd control, and the rest. We also recognize at this meeting the government is committed to providing us with the necessary inputs.
He added the service will intensify intelligence-led policing to scale up its fight against violent crimes and keeping communities safe.
We recognize that in some places, there has been the need to saturate the communities with police patrols. We have had to intensify police visibility. We have had to intensify monitoring and supervision, evaluation. We have done stakeholder engagement and partnership with the communities. But in all this, we need to do intelligence-led policing.
The IGP charged the various commanders to prioritize the welfare of personnel and ensure they are given the maximum attention in the discharge of their duties.
It is the strategy of this police administration that as leaders, we need to ensure that
in the discharge.
Watch this guy. I think this guy is in charge. This guy might be the guy in charge of equipping the police. Also, we are meeting what that. What that?
Strategy of this police administration that as leaders, we need to ensure that we have prioritized the welfare needs of our personnel to ensure that they are motivated to give up their best.
He bemoaned recent incidents of suicide among service personnel and stressed counseling units have been strengthened to manage personnel who find themselves in stressful situations. The chief director at Interior Ministry Adelaide Anokumi, for her part, charged personnel to put in more effort to drastically reduce road carnages which keep claiming more lives in the country. The theme for the 3 day conference was the role of leadership in preventing violent crimes and promoting community safety.
So yeah, so I started K9 unit. After the guy was shot in a bullion van, things we were talking about were new bullion vans and protective equipment for the police and good weapons for the police. This guy decided to say, and yeah, they are no back back into no helicopter hangar, K9 unit. It's not it's not addressing or addressing what like the mistakes they did for the boy to die. No. It's a new avenue for them to make money. And I'll buy a can see K9 unit there. A helicopter for Charlie. Yo, so this is what's going on. I'm going to post right. Okay. It's at 8:30. I'm just going to post the link for you guys to come in so that we can discuss. But still, our main focus today is just how to help Ghanaians, the Ghanaian youth. The Ghanaian youth is about 40 something percent, I think about 42 to almost 42 or 46, between 42 and 46% of the population of Ghana. So almost half of the population of Ghanaians are the youth. And the reason why all these crimes in Galamsey and armed robbery is happening is because there is no avenue for work. So these kids, straight out the university and other tertiary institutions, are coming out without work. And they gotta eat. They gotta get out of their home, their parents' houses, and start a life of their own. The so-called Ghanaian big men are also not helping, showing off on TV. BHSO Scott, people having weddings with a convoy of about 900 cars. And you're sitting there, and your girlfriend is looking in your face like, dude, what are you gonna do? You have to do something. Hence the high crime. And these criminals are very smart, very intelligent people. So imagine somebody who was going through school, did mathematics, went through university, graduated with mathematics and cannot find work, and he decides to be an armed robber. How are you going to catch such a person? He's going to apply all that he knows, he has learned in school. He's going to apply that in his newfound, his newfound occupation, robbing people. So the thieves are getting smarter, the armed robbers are getting smarter, the fraudsters are getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And instead of the proverbial Ghanaian thief cracking your window open in the night or when nobody's there, going in and stealing your TV or taking your wallet or your phone, now they drive in the middle of Bantama, broad daylight, 12 o'clock noon, rob people at gunpoint on a motorbike and just ride away. And it's non-stop. They say over 250,000 graduates every year. They're just producing them. Because in Ghana, your chances of becoming successful is almost non-existent. When we school now, I'm going to no. I told you to remember that $175 million that the president went to borrow from Europe. I'll tell you why. 175 million euros, I think. Some few years back, there was a so-called financial crisis in Ghana. About 4 solely owned Ghanaian banks, big banks, were in trouble. It's like this same thing that happened here around 2008 when the financial institutions and the car making industry were in trouble. So the Ghana government wanted to solve that problem because in a few years from when they detected the problem, the banks were going to collapse. That's the explanation. So they brought in auditors and specialists. They came, they did their job, and they said, well, Mr. President, this is what we came out with. Your banks are truly in trouble. And there are 2 ways that we can save the situation. Number 1, we can inject about 9 million, I think around 9 billion Ghana cedis into these banks. The government take possession of the banks. I'm sure these auditors will be from America because that's the same thing Obama did with the auto industry. We put in the banks, they run it, they pay the money back with interest before we release the banks to them. And what this is going to do is that the banks are not going to collapse so that the Ghanaian owned banks, will still be competing in the Ghana financial sector. So that about 500 to 1,000 employees that they have are not going to lose their jobs because you know what? You're not creating any jobs. So you don't want about 1,000 people to lose their jobs and join the, unemployment wagon. Or what you can do is borrow 21 billion instead of 9 billion. Borrow 21 billion, dissolve the banks, and pay off all their debts so that, and every person that has a deposit there, you pay all of them off, and then we can dissolve the banks. So, think about it. So the president called a roundtable with all his wise men and women, and they decide, you know what? Let's go with option 2. We're going to borrow the 21 million, dissolve the banks, pay off their debts, and prosecute whoever bankers that were part of that owns the bank. Just take them to court. After all, that's going to serve us better, isn't it? So he did that. So fast forward this year, the reason why the Jets problem is the president went to Europe to go borrow $175 million or pounds or euro, I've forgotten what it is, so that he would come back and form another bank, Ghanaian owned bank. So he dissolved 4 banks, paid more, went back to Europe to borrow money to come build one more bank. Congratulations. That's the logic right now. That's the logic we're using right now. It enhances the private jets and offer private jets in Yinabai. All right. That aside, yes. So I think our main issue today is going to be how are we, or what suggestions do you think we need to put in? I think we started last week. We were talking about it last week. We didn't go far with it. I hope we can continue today. And people will bring more ideas, as to how to go about it. Suggestions. Maybe the government will chance upon this video. Obviously, he needs a lot of suggestions and advice to be able to do that. hopefully we can help. So you listen to this guy whilst listen to this guy. I think Okujeto Ablakwa. He's an opposition guy. He was the guy who brought it up, brought the whole jet thing up. And let's just listen to him whilst I get my link ready, and we can do a discussion, today.
Let's go to Parliament now, because the much anticipated response of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to a question on how much President Akufo-Addo's latest foreign trip costs government did not come off in Parliament today. NDC MP Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, who asked the question, is addressing the issue at a briefing in Parliament House today.
Who is asking Parliament to give him more time, and that is why the table office delisted the question. We in the minority believe that the Honorable Minister responsible for Finance has had ample notice. He has had more than 2 weeks to prepare for this question. The Honorable Minister for Finance cannot also say that he was not available today. As you do know, he was in Parliament today responding to other questions. So it cannot be about clashes with his schedules or he being incapacitated. He was in this house to respond to other questions. He could have also responded to this. Now, we do not know exactly when the question will be scheduled. But what we know for certain is that our resolve to pursue this matter is unwavering. We will continue with dogged determination in the interest of accountability, in the interest of good governance, in the interest of protecting the public purse and protecting scarce national resources in this difficult time of austerity, in the midst of a pandemic, which has had debilitating consequences on the economy and on the general well-being of Ghanaians. We will continue to pursue this matter. So we believe that today is a sad day for accountability and for good governance. The Honorable Minister responsible for Finance should have availed himself. If the Defense Ministry within the same period could respond even a day earlier, he had an extra day. It's been more than 2 weeks. We cannot fathom. This is expenditure that has happened already. You have already paid for the private jet. The charter has been paid for. The per diems has been paid for. All the landing rights, the hotel bills, and all the incidental costs, those who traveled commercial, and all of those incidentals have already been paid for. And the whole Finance Ministry is telling Parliament that having had notice since the 1st of June, today is the 17th of June, we are being told that they need more time. We will hold ourselves in readiness, and we are hoping that in the business statement that will be presented to the House tomorrow, probably it will be listed for next week, sometime next week. We cannot tell for now because my inquiries could not provide any definite response. We are told that the finance minister is only asking for more time. But as to how much time he needs, Parliament does not know at this point. And we will only continue to ask the questions and do our work as an oversight body. We are doing this work because it is our constitutional mandate and because the people of this country expect of us to carry out our oversight fearlessly and diligently. And so we will continue to carry out that mandate. Yeah. Yeah. So yesterday we established that the presidential jet, the Falcon 900 EXE, is in pristine condition, is in great condition, and it was available for the president to use to France. It could have flown directly to France. So we have established that. Now we want to establish the cost. We know some of the cost as we have put out, which is cost derived from our communication with Acropolis Aviation on the charter. But there are so many other incidentals. Landing costs, the layovers, the ferry periods that we did not capture, per diems, the new revelation that even beyond this charter, there were others who flew commercial and all of that. So all those related incidentals is what we need. Remember that fundamentally we are making the point that the president did not exercise prudence, financial prudence, in his travel arrangements. And germane to that point is the cost. Parliament deserves to know. Remember that in approving the 2020 budget, we had raised concerns earlier about the 2019 cost of presidential travels, you recall. And we asked for details, and it emerged that between January and September of 2019, the president had spent about 62.5 million cedis on presidential travels. At the time, we cautioned, and we said that that must not happen again. And that's why we have been monitoring. But it appears that the president is even incurring more cost because the nature of private jets, the ACJ 320 Neo, which he leased this time, he has never leased this level of sophistication. This is the pinnacle of luxury, as you have all researched and found out. It's called the penthouse in the skies. Yesterday, we were told by the defense minister the additional, luxurious advantages of that particular ACJ 320 Neo. So this is about financial accountability. This is about financial prudence. This is about national priorities. This is about protecting the public purse, which the president himself pledged that he will do. So it's curious. It's very curious that on a matter like this, remember since we raised it, since my first publication, government has just stayed away. You in the media have complained about how difficult it has been for you to get a response from government. Now we've brought them to the more appropriate forum where they are constitutionally bound.
Nana.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
What happened, you?
You see, flying penthouse in the sky.
Yeah, it's kind of slow. It's kind of slow on sky.
My attention was drawn right now, and they are just today, there was another attack by armed robbers on the same pickup truck bullion van. Another one. But fortunately for this one, nobody actually died. We know police in driver omutimi escape here.
Oh, okay. Name onye easy. Onye easy cry. In fact, Monkwana.
Merba, I was trying to share with Noma Amanfwe who said, see, if we don't find a
bullion van which was shot out on Thursday afternoon at Gomwa Ochitreko on the Kaswa Winneba Road in what is believed to be an attempted robbery attack. The armed assailants are said to have shot at the front passenger side of the van, but missed the police officer who was in the seat. No one was injured. The van was rescued by a patrol team from Winneba. Adom FM's Kofi J joins us with more on this. Kofi, I'm grateful that you joined us. What more can you report on this failed attempted robbery? All right, we'll try and get Kofi back for more on this story. But as you may have followed within the week, there's been one that killed a police officer. Police is already on a manhunt, but this particular one happened on the Kaswa Winneba Road, and that was an attempted robbery attack. The armed assailants are said to have shot at the front passenger side of the van, but missed the police officer who was in the seat, and no one was injured, though the van was rescued by a patrol team from Winneba. Kofi J from Adom FM now joins us with more on this. Kofi, I'm asking, what more can you tell us about this field?
Currently, Winneba Divisional Police Command has started investigation to find out if they can arrest us. And that's what explains you now. These people have run into the nearby bush because where the incident happened, the start first, and that place also pushed. So immediately, Winneba patrol team arrived. They ran into the nearby bush. So as I'm speaking to you, the police are saying that if they can get the culprit and arrest them. But the blue van was coming from Kaswa to Winneba direction, and after reaching that portion of the road, just 500 meters to a second police station. That place is a very, very sharp curve, and that place also boosted. So this armed robbers, number about 6, intentionally put leaves on the road to signal drivers that there might be an accident or something on the road, so they should be slowed down. So these blue vans started slowing down to see if there's a problem ahead of them. Not knowing these people have laid ambush on that section of the road, they started firing live bullets on the car.
Do we know which bank, Kofi, which bank the bullion van belonged to?
Divisional Police Commander, the Winneba Divisional Police Commander, Superintendent Kanta said we should hold on for now due to they are investigating the matter, so we cannot disclose the bank to us.
The police hasn't told you anything yet about what they've gathered with their investigation?
No. They know they are still investigating because they might find the culprit inside the bush, because that place, it has become initially armed robbers always come to that section of the road, but they deployed counter-terrorism police officers to that place. But they normally come in the evening around by this time. When they were shot, these people came around 4:35 o'clock thereabout.
Kofi AJ is with Adom FM.
Well, we saw that on. You better say we move. So that's the God will show us the way. Our protection is the Lord. Put your it's not even funny, man. This is incredibly like the show of incompetence. It's incredible. Just say, what do you want? Oh, just it.
Name more, I am a young in there. Erica no would defend. As in the whole party, no would defend on lawyer yawan. Na media ne de say opposition the lay BBA or to be some more question government person not to know or you're wrong. She question a war to ma a blocker. Na she question a war to ma papa nankasa obebe yana. Na back to police officer.
I mean, Kato Hokaka. I think the Ghanaian media Ghana media now has been very fair. But say, fair. I mean, we have some stations that are like strictly opposition and some stations that are strictly for majority. But to say hey, yeah, but we have some very fair ones like Joy FM, for instance. And
my big one.
What's my favorite one?
City. GH1.
Yeah, City. They've all been kind of fair.
Yeah.
I think the government was even complaining that Joy is anti-government.
Yep.
Joy, a propaganda. But
because this is majority of news of being Joy.
This is so like I said we can I said do that would be serious. Because how can you say plane si ho plane no bathhouse in you know who need shower or plane if you hey well
one former cantan on division papa able to my brody be nice one so they can correct that expensive one.
So this is about like for a month now we've been talking about we are talking about how the government should be instrumental in helping Ghanaian youth, we've been talking about this for about a month now.
Yeah.
And the government didn't shut that out with any good solution. But when it comes to their traveling arrangement and excuses there, I'm a manufacturer be amount to see. It's incredible.
Okay, Kwame Michia, where it's a funina. Na Yanshasi for Yambra Munia Policinia or Munia Kakraba because or ni agent will form it or Mubada Kakraba. Yaman Nebushafu Yako or yell pade Ibiruko Ejuma Demone one fa Asampapa Amfamba Ishi or your part within Ghana or yell. Na yambra aposofo wokro ifie ho okwekadase okaka one ayewoti kire ebusuafo na onye papa nankuti no owi ibidimu su wi kan na mehu de aposofo kro ho kama won so yakọ.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to know how quickly. I think one lady out ton ade area ho I don't know who we are. And what happens, I think, or T2 no Draneko share Nedam. And then a wooden house. It's a stray bullet in the room na Kobono. And I think the police for Nakwa Sra.
Later and sana. Later and Kofraka and Sana Kasra.
Okay.
Ma oye young there. One of police lady Bia Okasama one. None of the Asemisa. Na wasma na wire fast na wabakan dede na Ghana for yaja tumboko
if you are tingana
yeah onje dama propaganda no real no onboard asemisa na why na doc because Ghana for ya ahombrasefo e kasa chema ahombrasema nyinya abota ye jutum asemisa pe asema.
Yes. You guys will be a PR officer that you've already done.
Yeah,
just
yes, all you need you but on my Ghana for used to do. right? Share wakasa fan, brother wakasa fan. Maybe I jatum. She ne paying asem obaken. The heaven mpo. Or the heaven, but compare Ghana. On no media or one. The heaven pen a crime in so. Necessary one some or head and fi heaven about. If you
Sɛ wɔn ho asɛm baako a waka yi obi ka ɛnyɛ nokora biara na yɛka so wɔn ebiara no
I said,
ɛnyɛ
that's what I
nokora
said.
biara na yɛka.
I said, having crime,
on
so
was it?
crime,
Premise were heaven or
Ah,
premise were heaven or man.
Lucifer, we are feeling Lucifer.
Lucifer and Uncle. Fight why you were heaven or one of
But
us more.
deɛ ɛyɛ wɔ asɛm no mu sɛ yɛnim sɛ yɛnim saa mefi sɛ asɛm a ɔka koraa is not profound like obi ka sɛ ɛnyɛ profound a
Yeah.
ɛnyɛ biribi a asɛm yi o
Emu nye du, abadi
ɛmu
ani.
nyɛ du ayɛ sɛ waka asɛm bi a ɛsɛ yɛdwene ho yɛnim saa nti na police ade nti na
Ɛwɔ hɔ yi.
yɛti ɛwɔ hɔ nti na police wɔ yi nti no yɛnim sɛ Ghana adesɛn wiase nyɛ heaven ɛno nti na yɛwɔ police na yɛwɔ security agency no because ebi bɛdi bɔne kan ebi bɛyɛ bɔne kan ɛno nti na wo koraa woyɛ IGP
Right.
wosaa bɛkae sɛ Ghana nyɛ heaven a na wofi sɛ heaven a nka ɛbɛma IGP anka wo position no kora ɛni hɔ no
I think that the more reason for a Fiatinga should be to be talking.
Serious.
These guys.
Canadian as in your one. One for one chow what I'm asking you.
IGP wey there, I think say yeah, almost say yeah, person can say bonu baby. I you too say bonu baby, but I mean, I think say asamba sa na ankofo come wuru na akokaka sa nsem we a. Obama ebufo na more, you know.
I think now there's calls from all quarters say he should resign.
And I wouldn't the man here, you know. Because yes, I'm on the contract now also. What's I can say
Wow, he's on contract. Wow.
We just go for before more. So okay, I'm on contract. I'm on contract with contract crimes. We have to 1 year.
But you know what's funny? Anytime there's a tragedy in Ghana, and I say Ghanaians start complaining about something that is not going on well for them. Authorities in the bar, they will compare us to US and the UK. Oh, even in UK, or we say. And so when we are talking about, say, oh, mama, a good water, and then electricity, and then you're good. They don't compare it to the good things.
Our countries, it took them years to develop.
It took them.
Only one state where you were in position in Ghana.
But Nkrumah Kasim, you say Ghanaians so one here you mistake them to be very docile. Because omo pe gidi. But they over do ngasi asem sa la da omo be explode.
But I don't think it's a natural phenomenon.
It's a human, yeah.
It's a human. What in the Bema? Now the buffalo no cast react here. That time, I want to be reacting.
You can't stop it.
Or that you know, Puba a bad disaster.
Because I think to say, they feel that they can do anything they want, give any reason they want, and if you're a dog baby, and if you're a snake baby, be my area.
Yeah, but if you order the same team blame, on the Nejuma or Faso by I do apologize. Some no Emma or the dead, so they be unfaithful.
Right now, a few other is even a freedom fighter. So sorry for mentioning your name in this statement.
Oh.
A few other.
Wait a second. Sorry, I thought I was talking about what do you call it? If you're
thinking, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If one at the thing, is it Western region?
No. Upper East one.
Upper East one at the thing. Now, if you're on the upper with someone to fear, and another papaya, maybe.
Now, so
Ghana for.
We are the most heterogeneous society,
which is good for us.
In the world.
Okay. Oh, I see.
So back to our topic. I mean, for a month now, we've been talking about trying to control, trying to find employment for our teaming youth. And you know, the reason why I brought these two in, especially with they said the surname is her surname is her husband's surname.
Who?
Oh,
If yeah,
okay.
so a baby and a
Which
husband.
means,
And
oh yeah,
policeman.
something.
Oh, okay.
It's the reason why I brought this in is most of these crimes, according videos we are having, it's just by very young people between 18 to maybe 25 or 30. Nkofo ya chomo Achimota highways. And so I think about 3 days ago, the oldest among them was 40. And it's shocking that some of them are even university graduates, which means wapima onye adwuma bi here.
I joined late. What news item here?
We talked about the Bullen van.
There were Jamestown,
Jamestown, but like
Yeah, Jamestown. Yeah.
we talked about about 3 previous ones, and the police maintaining, not making any changes. And even I think today or yesterday, another one happened, and fortunately for this policeman and the driver, they were able to escape on the Winneba Road. It's crime is on the up. Galamsey, Nissan Romania, it's just by very young kids. So if the thing is, if you don't find something for them, they will find some things for themselves. And 9 out of 10 is going to be a crime. 40% of our population are youth. So it's I mean, you guys can go.
crime.
Okay, Nana Kwe.
I mean, that's another the sign crime there. If you say a very what people don't know in this especially Ghana, violent crime, armed robbery, they are what can it be bullion van. You see, it's because our society is still a very you carry cash a lot, right? So these bullion vans have to refill these banks and maybe these ATMs more regularly. At a time when we start moving from cash to a little bit of digital, I mean, credit cards, stuff like that. I mean, these things will go down. So it's just a function of our society and the way we are structured, and also Kahubi. But I know it's just one part. So you could have a lot of criminals in the system. If our cash holdings were down, then the incentive for them to go out and do these things will not be there, right? So you take away the incentive element from them. But so that is one way you can look at it if you want to solve it. Structurally, just changing the way we handle, cash transactions will create a difference. The other long one would be make sure that everybody has a job, right? And if everybody has a job and they are busy doing something, the likelihood someone in those things, so better coffin. But that is really going to be a hard thing to. That would have been me if you said the ideal thing. At least you create employment for a lot of people, and then people will not have justification for why they have to go and engage in things like that. The say Kuruma Ejuma Wahai, Obiko we are there near China. He doesn't have sympathy, right? Because it's not as if the system did not provide the opportunity. The system gave you opportunity. You just decided to be lazy about it and decided to take another method that society doesn't really, approve of. If you say near environment, we have created a system that squeezes people. And at the same time, we want those people in the midst of the squeeze, to be very morally upright by our standards. I don't think that these two systems can live together for a long time. If you create a system that squeezes people out and they need to survive, they will find other ways. And some of those ways might fall into these other bad ways, in as much as we want to discourage that, no, I think we should start thinking broader terms. Say ama ahoto amba ama ubia wan ahihan kakra kakra. These things will probably not leave us for a long time to come. You know, even when we have created cashless society, these people will find other ways of what stealing or engaging in other activities that is equivalent to what they are doing now, and we will still just move the nature or the type of the crime to another type, and we will not have solved the problem. We would have just shifted the problem around in a different way. And if he said it's also the issue, sir. Sankofa, we are the all Ghanaians. I know usually we tend to think, say, Ghana for no and once, and we don't do much of these things. Usually it's the foreigners that infiltrate and do these things, and then the foreigners lead our people to do these crimes and so on and so forth. I don't know what the identity of Sankofa are, but Kwame, also the nature of crimes now, they are not crimes that you just sit down one day and just get up and you go and commit them all. It tells you that it's a bigger, wide network going on. Somebody's providing some information and providing some, surveillance, and that makes me suspicious. Maybe our security agencies might be compromised in some way, and somebody is providing these leads and leaks and whatever. Because to go and attack a bullion van, you need a certain, make us a preparation and very some basic information to be able to map an area and recognize that, hey, this is going to happen, or these people are going to be here at this point in time, and therefore let me be ready for them. And then if I so happen to fail, then we would find an exit route and find it so easy such that we know the area, such that if one area is blocked, we know where to pass. Then these people, it means that they've picked up some good or done some good research about the nature of the operation of these vans and what they are going to do. Internet man may get a little bit worried. So I don't think it's been orchestrated solely by their own efforts. I think there's some other hand somewhere that it's helping and giving them, some information aid or more into, this systemic and yes, I just one of. And if you look at the way they are happening, the playbook now, the playbook by which they are happening, it's almost the same, right?
The same. It's the one that happened in Techiman last year. Same tactics.
Right. So it tells you that they've been given information in a way to operate in the way, because it cannot be that the playbook is the same, and they're just going by that playbook. And as far as the environment is right and they play that script, they should be successful with it, And maybe the security will now have to change their ways, and then that would distort their, playbook, examples, and then allow them to be able to counteract these things. But
Darren, let me give you this a little background so that you that might help you in this discussion. So, after the Techiman incident, and the policeman was shot in the head, same like this kid, the Ghana police went to the banks and told the banks that we can't allow you to be using all these pickups, because this is not a billion van. It's basically a pickup with a cage at the back. It has no bulletproof windows, nothing. So when we put our guys in there now, they're just laying ducks. They're just sitting ducks for these armed robbers to just pick them up. Unless you invest in real armored bullion vans to transport your money, we are not going to provide you with the police. And the banks told them, people are dying, we have to do something about it. But bullion vans are very expensive, so you have to give us time. At the time now on my mind, almost I think up to the 2024 to 2025 will be the time. But until then, your boys will be shot here and there. You just have to wait for us. And when this incident happened, I played the video. instead of the police to go back to this bullion van and say, you know what, that's it, we're on strike, we are not going to just force them to do that. The police have come out with a genius plan of trying to move money in Ghana. What they are going to do is that they are going to build hangars all around the country and buy helicopters.
Kwame, I think that is simplistic. That might not be accurate.
I play the video.
No. Kwame, let's be serious here. See, let's be serious here. Kwame, let's think through this. Come on. Let's not take anything that anybody says just for what they say.
For your sake, I'm going to look for the video.
Can we play the video?
No, but that's what I'm saying. You can play the video, I can listen to it, but Kwame,
IGP arranged, it's not somebody, it was the IGP himself, arranged an emergency seminar with all the top shots of the policemen to address this issue. And their solution is that even some of the hangars are ready right now. They are now waiting for the chopper, the helicopter to come.
Oh my
No,
God.
Kwame, let me provide some background. So before not before this incident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before this crime incident that you are talking about, already the police service, right? It's already in the process. It is not because of this crime. They have started this like a year, 2 years ago, because it doesn't take 2 months, 3 months to order a plane. You have to order it ahead of time for the manufacturer to put you in the process and get you going. And the police service are trying to add an air wing to the operations. So they are starting with 3 helicopters. That is what I know. And they are building, of course, if the helicopter comes, the police service will have to find a place to house them.
They need hangars, yes.
Right. That is what I know. But to tell me that because of this crime, what are they buying more helicopters other than this 3 that I know? And are they building more hangars other than...
What the IGP said is that they are going to use these new choppers. They are going to use these new choppers to transport money instead of bullion vans. That's what he said.
So that's why one of the uses of this new helicopter that they are getting, because initially I understand what they're going to use that to fight crime, maybe respond to emergency situations, that areas where it's not reachable easily, they can quickly respond. But are they also going to use this thing as part of that operation? Is that what he's saying? Is going to be an added function?
I mean, if it wasn't for your input that this was a plan that the police has taken, I didn't have that information. You just told me. Yeah. But for them to organize a meeting right after this and say that they are building hangars and they're going to use the choppers to transport the money, my only thing is that, okay, the top shots have sat down and came out with a brilliant plan of moving the money around. You cannot afford a bullion van, okay? You can afford a chopper.
Right, that was what it would sound like, right? That would make it useless, right? Nonsense,
and you know how many rural banks in Ghana that transport money from their bank
every corner
to the Bank of Ghana. We see those bullion vans every day. So you cannot tell me that 3 helicopters is going to do that job. Obviously, you are building hangars almost all over Ghana and buying helicopters.
Even
you cannot afford bullion vans.
Kwame, I can assure you, it is not to solve the bullion van problem.
Even Ghana.
Wait, hold on.
Ghana, electric wires in your hungry. In the time I look up to, I ain't for no button 100 disconnect.
Oh,
one bit ne mego maponcho musa ne Ghana Commercial Bank wo da vani bia wolokwa wotu mo bosarin apart fuzechi wodiska woduko bebia na obanedan na waye nkakrami kwami yeso ni ya yehun bi woloba wo bosarin dede na biale giveaway na skene botwem nendo obanedan I think kakrama na wasn't nam infichini fichi
I think they stopped doing that because maybe they thought they were attracting the attention by putting
No.
salaries.
Nti dɛm no
Well,
ehufo wotu wɔn attack van no ntam.
Yeah,
I mean, more I am
yeah,
actually.
the choppers definitely, maybe it's coming to support this other thing, but it's not solely meant to come and transfer. No, that would be laughable.
But you know what? I wouldn't put it past Ghanaian authorities. Yeah, This is an opportunity. Look at what happened with this pandemic. It was an opportunity for some people to make money, irrespective of how many people are dying. They went to the market. Says Sputnik. I don't know whether you heard about this. They are trying to procure Sputnik drugs. That the Russian government has come out and told you that it shouldn't cost more than $10. Ghanaians managed to go and buy these drugs for like $25 until the issue was raised, and now they've dropped it down to $18. Still like twice.
Kwame, why you sure it's 25?
It went to 25. That was the proposed.
So proposed doesn't mean that is what you buy it at. Who proposed that?
That was the contract that was prepared after they had an argument over it in Parliament over and over and over. They dropped it down to 18. I'm like, Jesus.
Let me provide background.
19 and money is 19.
Kwame, sometimes, and this is why I feel like some people just put things out there to to take advantage of our vulnerabilities, because some people don't understand even how transactions or business deals and things work. So they just put things out there and think that when you go to the market, you can just go and get things, negotiate like that. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
I mean, in a proper business environment, you don't even pay for these things. You wait for you deliver a contract such that the person delivers it at a certain time, a certain place, in a certain condition. And these things have to be met before you even pay for a price.
Right.
You get what? So it's not as easy as you go and pay money to somebody and then stay there and wait for them to supply you the stuff. It doesn't work like that.
I don't think that's what I meant by that. What I meant is that
not you. I'm saying that
from the explanation we got from the health minister.
Yeah, I read that.
He said he panicked basically. To rephrase what he said. He said he panicked. We were in serious problems, so he was going to get the thing from the black market.
Kwame, let's also analyze what people say. Let's not just take what people say on face value. That is why we are independent-minded people, right? We can put context and put words to words, and we have a broader understanding of how the global environment works on some things, right? So we are not just ignorant people. When you tell us something, we also have our professional expertise and knowledge about things. We can put one or two together and make sense of whether what you are telling us in that context is reasonable or it's foolishness that you are just telling us, thinking that we are all dumb people. You get what I'm trying to say? Kwame, you are talking about black market. So how will it become possible in such that a medication that is needed or a vaccine that is needed for, resolving a problem, a pandemic, how will it get into a black market in the first place? Meaning that there's no rules or regulations that stop it from somebody else getting it. How did the third party get it? Said that governments are struggling to get this vaccine by themselves. Developing countries are not getting it. So how did it end up in the black market environment? Is that a legit business or it's not a legit business? That some other third party can go and get it from the supplier directly and then decide that because there's limited supply, let me take advantage of it and sell it at a higher price and make a profit. So we have to be asking those questions because we are making it look like, black market, everything was bad. If it was bad, what rule stop anybody from getting that vaccine from the manufacturer? Because once somebody was able to get it, then it doesn't mean that there's anything out there that prevent any third party from getting it, right?
Well, the explanation that I heard from the government communicators was that the Russian government owns the company that produces the Sputnik.
Okay.
And to get it at $10, it has to be a government-to-government transaction.
Okay.
But because it's highly sought after, because obviously we are in a pandemic, there are third parties that can guarantee you of getting some of the vaccines.
How were they able to negotiate government to government? If government to government, I can't get it. How is this third party that are not government able to get this medication directly?
That's why I'm saying, there are some unscrupulous people. They don't care whether.
Why do you call them unscrupulous? You don't know what connection they are.
No. If there's a pandemic, people are dying. Everybody is panicking, and you've got some of the medicine. Now, Okachev said the only way Nanaya Obenyam and say this is Okohu Nana Ahonze and Sana Meme Baba Nana Ahonze and Son of the amount. So Nana Ahonze will sell it to you for $18 and come and buy it from me for $10.
Metia sent Nana Ahonze no ye dem beto few honum. If at the end of government to government, I don't know the ultimate only few honum.
Well, because the black market has always existed, and Big Farm always has a black market in, like, diabetes drugs in the U.S. There is a black market, straight for black market production of diabetes drugs that people without insurance have access to. It has always been worked in Big Pharma like that. So making it sound...
I get that. We are talking about, let's put the context here. We are talking about a pandemic where we are talking about a vaccine. And all of a sudden, the Russian produces this vaccine and some third party can get it into the black market. Then the Russian people, they are really corrupt.
No, it's not only Russia. AstraZeneca drugs, the elite in the U.S. were vaccinated before anybody else.
No, they were vaccinated through which channel? They bought it like privately from these companies?
Yes, they did. That's what's a black market. A black market is simply an alternative supply route. It doesn't make the goods inferior. It doesn't make it worse. It is simply a supply route outside of the established chain of supply.
And
that's
it's allowed.
Why it's called black market.
Does the government allow that? The government doesn't have a problem with that, right? The Russian government doesn't have a problem with that.
How can they have a problem with that if it's the black market? If I have all plausible deniability, how can you come tell me that I can have a problem with it?
Then the story that it is only a government-to-government transaction that gets you this vaccine, it's false.
No,
it's not false.
You didn't get me
for
right.
The $10 price, for the $10 price, it has to be a government-to-government transaction.
Okay.
That's not what a black market is. A black market is a whole supply system on its own outside that government-to-government transaction.
We've established that once you go to the black market, don't expect to get it at $10. That is what.
No,
exactly.
Hell no. So
exactly.
the whole scandal.
So Obaya, if I'm in a pandemic and I'm looking for vaccines to cure my people, and I'm trying to do it the regular way and I'm not getting it, and somebody has it in the black market, will you advise that I should go and buy it, or I should go?
Okay, pause right there. Pause right there.
Hold on. See, it's not about what we're advising. This is what the face of the government is saying he did. You keep on telling us that we shouldn't take we shouldn't take these insane things they tell us at face value, but that is what they're saying. It is their PR machine.
My third person.
Exactly. So if you say two contradictory things, it's not up to the people you're telling to decipher what is your truth and what is your false. This is what the face of the government is saying he did. If as a health minister, you think it is okay to get on a national platform and say you panicked and so we're going to engage in a third party black market deal to get vaccines, it is not on us, the citizens, to figure out what is right or wrong. It is on us, the citizens, to accept that and either dissect it with you're crazy or we're going to live with it. But the problem with Ghana is nothing is ever what is said, right? So, catch and say you're going to buy vaccines at almost twice what it's supposed to cost. Why? When there is an official channel set up for you to buy it at the $10 price. It's like you don't even respect our intelligence.
Hold on. You are assuming that this official channel is easy to get in.
No. It's not an assumption. Let me come in here real quick.
Yeah.
See, the only reason why we got to know of this transaction was through, I think, a Norwegian investigation done. And they realized that there are some African countries, including Ghana, that is paying about 3 times to the amount that the Russian government is quoting.
Mm-hmm.
And through investigation that we found out that it is true. The Ghana government has actually been part of it. And the reason why people are complaining is that Ghana has a very, very special relationship with Russia. And you know that, Daniel, from the time of Nkrumah.
But what put that
Don't rush it. Okay. So the Ghana government, instead of going to Russia, if the Ghana government had approached Russia and Russia had said no, Russia even came to Ghana to test their drugs in Ghana. Sputnik is being even the Sputnik 2 is right now in trial in Ghana right now. So couldn't we have used that as leverage and say, okay, if you're going to try your vaccines in Ghana, then we should be guaranteed.
Hold on, right
some
there.
Of the drugs.
Hold on, right there. Sequence of information. This Sputnik that we are talking about, it's not Sputnik 2, right? It's 1.
No, it's Sputnik V.
Yeah. So it's not the one that we opted to put our people on trial for, right?
The one, I think it's the same drug.
This one, did we opt to put our people on trial for this one? This V, Sputnik V.
That information I don't have.
I don't think we opted to put our people on this one.
No,
but the two I'm told, yes, we did.
Because our first one anyway, the second one
But what it is that instead of the Ghanaian government approaching the Russian government for the drugs, they opted to go for a third.
You are making a statement here. Instead, are you sure that they never approached them?
They never approached. That's what came out. That's why it's a problem. That's why it's a scandal. Because they never approached the Russian.
Okay. So the question is why? Why are they going outside established supply channels? Because Russia did not refuse you the drug if you had gone through the $10 route. You just chose. I'm not even going to say you just chose to do it because we don't know that they did it.
Yes, if that is understanding, then that is problematic, right? If you never exploited that channel, the official channel, and it wasn't as if that official channel was blocked to you, and you just decided to go outside of it, then that excuse, nobody will buy it. If you had exploited that channel and for some reason you had, what do you call it, delays in getting the attention and negotiating stuff, and you wanted a quick way, and that was why you went to get this one from a third party quickly, then yes, maybe people will be like, okay, you were being smart, you wanted to get it quickly for us. And then how did Israel get to vaccinate its people so early?
Okay, I was hoping you were going to bring this up so I don't have to bring that up. Exactly. That is the point. That is what our problem with what the health minister said is, because there is absolutely no justification for you to use to say, I bypassed the official channel to go pay twice as much using the unofficial channel. There is absolutely no basis for him to stand on to even make that statement, much less to try to find concrete reasons for that statement. That is what the outrage is about. Is the fact that it's like our intelligence isn't even appreciated anymore at this point. What can more pay like excuses? Well thought out.
Have we? This was about to have happened. I don't think we have paid for this, right?
No, I don't think we
have
paid for it yet.
I don't think we received the vaccine, like the Sputnik vaccine.
No,
Yes.
Okay.
I think the only reason why we didn't pay for it was because
So some others already paid for this.
Because it was caught by the Norwegian authorities. They broadcast it, it got to Parliament, and the media got hold of it, and then they started scrutinizing. And the reason why I tell you that, I want to show you that.
I know, but go back to the heading itself. What the newspaper is reporting. When he says something is $10 at global factory price, outside of the factory price, I don't think it will remain $10, right?
Well, let's even say it's $15.
All right.
Right? The Russian government has already told you that if you come to Russia and buy it from us, it's $10. Right? Let's say after taxes and all that, whatever, transportation and everything is going to be $15, right? You decided to go buy it for $25 through a middleman who is an international criminal and wanted. I mean, we've not even gotten there.
Not just that. You don't know the quality of the supply you're about to get because it's from the black market. You don't even know what you're about to get because it's from the black market.
Hold on
these
there.
are people.
Hold on there. That is a good question. But Kwame, do you know that whenever we have had vaccines come into our country, we just don't deploy them to the people. We also do our own testing. Do you remember the Madagascar episode?
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
No. But here's the problem. If you have already paid $18 to $25 per vial of this vaccine and you have it in your possession and now you test it and it's bad, you are still out however much you paid because, again, it is the black market. So the black market functions in terms of whatever happens in the black market stays in the black market. Who are you going to get a refund from?
And let's say you were lucky enough to find
but from what you guys are saying, it appears there's a special black market because you have a contract with the person. You know.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
And
that's what I'm
you guys are
saying.
saying. Yeah.
In a pandemic, speed is of the essence.
Of essence, right?
You want to get this into your country as fast as possible so that people. So let's say you can even return it. You bring these drugs in, and then the FDA of Ghana or whoever takes care of them test it and say, okay, this is not potent. Let's take it back. That is wasting time.
Definitely.
So any way you put this,
Kwame,
it is wrong. Go ahead, Nana. Nana was it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kwame. In Pocono to Nazinamo for $10. Or the test will Ukrumo. About test will Ukrum. Why the M fighting in Pocono about what Nazinamo? Ne intumenji my president put on both of them. Now for third personage. Ornaments no. In Pocono, one testing Ghana for.
In fact, what if like debut? On said do no matter to me this Sputnik V. On say with the V. And now the another can also is
Sputnik 2, yeah.
Two na omodi aba e ukrom so on crop from about the V we me yes say dey for so test you.
But me assure say it didn't take a day.
Okay, or your opportunity or your opportunity more.
Definitely, and it's a BBR between because we can also testing on it before the year Juma they can sell it to all other African countries, right? So you show Microphone they are also leverage the advantage do say
very good.
And who you show Microphone they say who we are and supply and now over time at a lower price. Now our supply means so first become Microphone being here. Until the end the obet negotiate which is a fair deal.
Yeah. Yeah, Bessian Peno. Yeah, Bessian Pen. No, Nankasaba Buffy. I was not there catcher. Or they go on a catcher of crocodile. I may PO by Michelle Quam to Mancasa. I bet Miss Yadam catcher. Oh, me catch and no, them from Kwame. Or I was so kind of having back a
That's exactly what Ghana did. And this is where, we smell a rat because say enye obi and an airpen a cat where he decided to take this. This is even a very risky channel, and we are in a pandemic for God's sake. And you decided to go to the black market, and I was trying to find the guy who they contacted in the black. Okay, Amari deal, no, Amari deal when we were trying to get some generators for.
Was saying something. Was saying.
Kwame,
you remember
that guy was so criminal, so that is why I'm trying to think.
How
did he get the medicine?
Let me give you a little profile about it. Amari now, Amukofa, some machines in the bar. We found out say the machines was even cheaper everywhere. So they started investigating the middleman who helped us get the machine from Turkey. And it was the same guy. The same guy is the guy. Yeah, 5 years ago, said Oya Kronfo. It's the same guy we chose to go to for the spook. No, Parliament actually put people together to do an investigation on why the Amari deal was so expensive. Mm-hmm. And they found out that we weren't dealing with a Turkish company directly. Mm-hmm. There was some guy that was leading the Ghanaians to purchase this thing. The guy was a middleman. So they found out that the guy had inflated the price of the machines that we were buying. And because we were in a hurry to get the machines because Dunso was wrecking havoc, we didn't do due diligence. So we even reported the guy. We reported a guy to what's that worldwide police? What Interpol.
Interpol.
And it was this same guy that we went on, like when we went to Sputnik, we said, okay, who is the roughest and toughest criminal that can get us something?
Your boyfriend.
The devil you know, Bia.
So let's go find this devil. We know he's going to inflate the price because he already done it to us before.
But Kwame, I'm surprised. So this guy has some credibility with the Russian government then, right?
Well, apparently he has some credibility with the Ghanaian government, irrespective.
Yeah, but I'm surprised. Media was our guy who can international Interpol phone he's that bad. I'm surprised how on media doing if you Russian and the Russian government and were corrupt, right? You know. I
mean, it's Russia. It's
Russia. Yeah, this Russia for you.
Always in the hurry. Always in the hurry.
Now, Kwame, Sputnik, you know, efficacy need to say because I don't know. Is it a better drug? Is it a better vaccine?
I think it works because I think some few countries, like especially the Middle Eastern countries, that is the one they use the most. And I think China, before theirs was ready, they used the Sputnik and it worked fine.
Oh, so Russia there's no China. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so there's no problem about the efficacy. It's how we are trying to get it. So
I mean, it's true. Usually in the pandemic, I know sometimes we try to bypass procurement laws and stuff because of the agency of the time. But even the pandemic, the procurement laws are said that you can still go through them, but then they will facilitate or speed up the process for you, and then because they know it's time bound and it's time agent. But Kwame, if you're not very careful, people can also take advantage of, that the fact that we need the things fast and quickly and rob the state. That risk exists. So people who usually want to take it because they will think that we won't think about too hard about scrutinizing these things, right? And therefore, once they supplies medication, we'll be fine with it. And so it's good that somebody saw this and is bringing it out. So that we don't even end up going to pay money before we start chasing for this money. Right then, in Ghana, for one who put sunshine and light to this and say, hey, yes, we are in a pandemic. We realize that, yes, you want to save life. But if this thing is not being done right and people are concerned, and you think that it's too expensive. And fortunately now, at least the supply is not as limited as before, right? So we don't. The same agency is not needed now for.
After this
would have given.
After this issue came out, the government has actually renegotiated the price to $18.
But we need it. Do we really need it again?
We still need it, yeah.
But do we need it when America is now promising to supply like the world some?
Well, I think we had already made some payments already.
Yes,
so, Kwame, I think the risk level in our country is not as high. I'm looking at that from a risk perspective, right? Currently, I think we've been able to the control measures that are put in place.
That one is true.
Yeah, risk level and high.
What control measures?
Exactly. I don't think that's what's going on in Ghana. Is an abundance of control measures that is making us safer from the corona. For one thing, I think that as much as public health people in the U.S. think corona is underreported in the U.S., I think that applies 100-fold. Yes, right now, definitely it is.
Underreported.
Somebody is giving really. So I think in Ghana, corona, for every one case of corona they report, I in my head add 500 to that number, because for one, there is still a vast number of Ghanaians who still are clueless about the fact that there is a worldwide pandemic out there. There's still a vast.
Let's come to the fact. Like if you say one and you add 500, shouldn't that be reflected in the deaths, and like something should be exposing us on some other end, right?
Ghanaians are dying. Ghanaians are still dying at an astronomical rate. There is not a day I go on Facebook that a death that doesn't make sense to me. But they're being attributed to different things, whether it is to keep a general calm in the people, whether it's truly because we're not testing after the fact, whether it's because these people are dying outside of health facilities, and at that point they figure it's too wasteful to test the dead body anyway. But Ghanaians are still dying at amazing rates. We're hearing more people talk about people dying from curses and other things that education tells you, what the heck, really? In 2021, we're still doing this. But I mean, Ghanaians are dying of young Ghanaians at that, are dying of all kind of complications that don't make sense. Yet our corona numbers seem to just stay where they are. Like the death rate in Ghana is not even correlating with what they're reporting right now. The other thing is there might be a natural immunity, and the study is still being done, where in a population that has a high occurrence of malaria has built some immunity to corona, or their symptoms are not as pronounced as somebody who's never had malaria. If you bring that to Africa, we're going to be doing good. But it's definitely not because of measures that are put in place by the government. Because what were the measures put in place by the government, honestly?
Well, but that is the issue too. You said might, but you see, if you there could be some part to all that, but you can't also discount some of the things that were put in place as meaning nothing, you know. So
I'm asking, what were the measures put in place?
The measures, some of them, we all know some of the measures. I mean, trying to make sure that, people are washing their hands, they are maxing up, they're doing that. We all knew those measures came up. It's not as if those measures were not done. They were done. And also, for some people, they were being isolated. In the initial stages, they were contact tracing. I mean, all these things happen. It's not that somebody's making them up. So they did some good things to begin with. And it was recognized by the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization cannot come and lie to the whole world about these things if a country has not done it. They have no incentive to, come and lie to us about a country like Ghana. What is Ghana's size in the global world for you to use them to play any mischief to the rest of the world?
And anyhow, what the World Health Organization congratulated Ghana on was the mandates and the approaches that were being put forward to the people. But you can put mandates all you want. it doesn't mean it's translating to the general public. And that
Yes,
that
but
is very clear in the Ghanaian public. When you see average footage in Accra, even in the depth of the pandemic, people who had masks so that the cops won't give them tickets were holding their masks or wearing them as chin devices.
we get
So
we get that. We get that. So yes, some people, I don't know how many people you watch, but to generalize those people to mean that other people were not being. And think about it, this thing was not spreading across all Ghana. It was some sections of, Ghana that it was more prevalent. Accra, Takoradi, Kumasi, those were, I think, are high risk areas, right? For the most part.
what do those places have in common?
Oh, population, of course, overpopulation. People are
They
a
have
lot of
population,
right.
but they also have major hospitals. They also have teaching hospitals. So if the visibility, they have visibility in these places. The market woman in Lyngsor does not have the same access to care or the same community health services that the person in Kumasi does. So we don't know what's going on in the parts of Ghana where there isn't the Comfort Notary, where there isn't the Kolibu, where there aren't these. We don't know. We literally are working in the blind with what's going on in majority of Ghana.
But that is what I'm saying. If those things were happening, like over time, the data would have fished us out. Like you would have seen more deaths.
That's the problem.
You would have seen more deaths. Like
there's no
something would it would have exposed you some way somehow.
No,
you can't keep hiding deaths when it is pandemic. Like if it is virus related, you think you can hide the deaths? In countries where they were overwhelmed with it, they couldn't control it. At some point, you could see clearly that the virus was overwhelming them. Brazil being an example, right?
Right.
So if you lie about it, the data, it will expose you somehow. You'll be exposed.
But now, who's collecting the data?
Ghana Health Services, they are collecting the data. They are reporting the data.
They said they're collecting.
They are reporting it. In fact,
how accurate is that data, and who's cross-checking?
Kwame, we can talk about accuracy. Even in the US, the people are still doubting numbers that have been released.
Yes,
people can always raise so many issues about so many things anytime. But this is what is coming from official sources. As to whether you believe them or not, it's a different matter. But at least they are reporting the numbers, right? People have raised issues about US numbers. Even Donald Trump was questioning his own people, saying he believed that some other countries are not reporting fully, and that the US is just putting a lot of
China was one of the countries that were lying
people said
about
that about China.
They didn't say it's actually
so
China.
Ethical issues about so many things.
China
Here's the problem with anything that is state controlled, Nana. Anything that is state controlled, especially when it's state controlled by a corrupt enterprise, is going to have no faith in it. If the Ghana Health Service is state controlled, it is like China, state controlled China press putting out figures for coronavirus. Who actually bought that?
But that's what I'm telling you about.
All right,
if it is
talking about corruption. Talking about corruption, I think
if the virus is causing havoc, how will you hide that? That will still come up to you. You will see a lot of deaths. You will see a lot of uncontrollable stuff. So if you lie to us, the data will expose you at some point. We'll see it. How will you hide those things? If somebody died of the virus, will you also hide that from us? We will.
Yes.
No. How are you going to control all that across the country?
Just misdiagnose.
The people will see. The people will realize that
just intentionally misdiagnose the person.
You're talking about a country
outside COVID. You think people are not misdiagnosed outside COVID when COVID had not come?
Well, okay.
You're talking about a country that
talking about corruption. Let's try and use the last 15 minutes to address this private jet thing. Ghana is crying about money all the time. Within the past 5 years, we've borrowed more than we've borrowed from 1960.
Yeah.
Up to that time.
I think, Kwame.
So, the government, although we have a presidential jet, decided to go rent a private luxurious jet for some reasons that he has listed that, looking at those reasons and what he actually did makes no sense. Well, to me, I want your your ideas about this. I want all of you to start. We're gonna start with.
You haven't given us the facts, so
the fact
I don't know
is
what
that
the facts are.
The facts are that the government said they had to hire the jet. First of all, they accepted that the Falcon, which is the Ghanaian presidential jet, was fit. There was no problem with it. The only reason why they hired the private jet was that the president's entourage was bigger than it was so big that he couldn't use the Falcon. The Falcon only takes 11. So we went ahead and hired a plane that takes 15. That is 4 more than the Falcon. Secondly, the Falcon has to refuel every 6 hours. Well, it came out as a lie that the Falcon has to refuel every 9 hours. But let's take the 6 hours for this argument. He was traveling to Paris, which from Ghana is under 5 hours. So that wouldn't have been a situation. Then he said, well, from Paris, I'll be going to South Africa, which is 11 hours from Paris. And so I will have to make a stop. And because of this COVID thing, I'm going to get some delay if I make a stop. And then the opposition came out and said, okay, you could have flown from Paris back to Ghana within 5 hours, refueled in Ghana, and then fly from Ghana to South Africa, which is 4.5 hours. It sounds simple to me, but the government decided to do that and spend $21,000 an hour on a private jet, while the Falcon was carried. I heard the Falcon took some people to Nigeria and back. And Falcon sat there after that while the president was jetting around in a Porsche private jet. So, whoever wants to start first.
Okay. So here's a couple of things that cannot make sense to me with this. So people ended up flying to Paris on commercial flights anyway. Right?
Yep. I forgot that.
So the reason we went for a $21K an hour bill was for 4 people more. How do you justify the value of those 4 people at $21K an hour when people still flew commercial who were still part of this entourage? Because for them to have had to go, they had to be part of this entourage. So that aside, how do you justify having 4 more people, like 4, not we're not talking about 10 people here. We're talking about 4 more people who, even flying them first class to and from Paris, to and from South Africa, will not have got us the $21,000 per hour price mark.
I forgot one important part. This might sound comical to you, but according to the Minister of Defense, the Falcon doesn't have a shower. So the president cannot take a bath in the Falcon, but with the new private jet, with only $21,000 an hour, the president can take a shower and then walk straight from the jet into a meeting without even going through the hotel. So that was part of the reasons.
Now, taking off my civilian hat and putting on my military hat.
Yes, I was going to come to that. You're military, right?
Yeah. So your biggest problem is
I was going to ask you
security. That was one of your biggest problems, is security.
Right.
But you had absolutely no problem entrusting the president of our country and 14 people, 13 additional people who are high-ranking enough to have to be in his entourage to go on a begging spree, to a commercial vehicle that you could not guarantee the safety of with staff that you could not vet.
Exactly.
But one of your number one priorities for the president was his safety.
Because
I want to know
let me put this in.
Who did the risk analysis for this trip? Because that person needs to be fired.
So
Right,
let's come back to the risk. I have some probing questions.
The company that provided the jet insists that nobody else can fly the plane but a crew from their company. So the crew that flew the plane wasn't from the Ghanaian military or Air Force. It was provided by the company that provided the plane.
Yes,
so security-wise, yeah.
Kwame, so let's come back based on the security issue that he asked, the risk analysis, because your number one thing is the safety of the president. If you want to quantify that, take everybody else that was part of the Interage out and just quantify the risk, the monetary risk around the president. Just quantify that alone and tell me that, I mean, how much they paid for that. I mean, just by the way you are talking, is it worth it? That is one part of my question. The other second part is, Kwame, the Falcon that we are told they didn't use. We are told that the Falcon, they were using this Falcon at a point in time, right? And at some point, in the US, when they flew, it developed, one of the engines went down or something. They had to return back, and that was almost a scary situation. So maybe that, what do you call it? Emotional flight, whatever, fear factor has gripped whoever, the president, and he doesn't feel like comfortable riding the Falcon. I can get that, but I can get that.
No, let me stop you right there. The engine problem on that plane was during Muhammad's time, and he flew it several times after that.
No.
And the explanation, I'll come to Akufo-Addo's time.
Okay.
And the explanation was that it wasn't a big problem because when Muhammad decided to fly it over and over again, they were complaining that why are we putting the president's life in danger? And the problem was that
complaining?
The Ghanaian government.
Okay.
And the answer that came out is that plane has 3 engines. And only one, okay. Because that is a fighter plane grade jet. It's not a normal jet.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not too much into planes, so I don't know the difference.
It has 3 engines, and only one had a problem. And that one that had a problem was the one that they're not even using. So when Akufo-Addo
why did they have to do an emergency landing if that engine doesn't mean anything? They could have just moved with the 2 engine. Why would they have to do an educators on those?
See, when Akufo-Addo had the same problem with an engine. So what they did is that they refurbed the whole plane about 3 years ago to make sure that the plane had no problem. So from 3 years ago up to now, the plane has no problem at all. So that doesn't even come in at all. The reason why the
issue has been fixed.
Yeah. And when they were listing out the reasons why they didn't use it, that even did not come up.
I see. Thank you for that fact.
I was going to ask, wouldn't it be cheaper to retrofit the Falcon to work? But apparently that's been done.
Okay, so thank you for that fact. So Kwame, if that was the case, then now if this fact, what we know is correct, then now we have to deal with the numbers, like Abaya was doing. That extra 4 people. I mean, there should be some other consideration why you go and rent a jet, because if your Falcon was okay, I mean, Kwame, unless somebody's providing me some more information, then it wouldn't make sense if this is the facts we know and this fact are true in its entirety. Then there's a problem here, definitely, right? Because you have the option of renting a flight that has been fixed and that it's, I mean, capable of flying 11 people, right? 11 people right there. I mean, so if you had flown those 11 people, how much would you have paid whenever you fly your own plane? How much do you pay? What expenses do you incur in flying your own plane?
For
I
one,
don't
you
know.
wouldn't have to pay local hangar fees. But two, you don't have to pay for a crew because there is an Air Force unit that's their entire function.
All you
But you pay for your gas.
All you got to do is pay for your gas, basically.
And you had to do that on the rental vehicle anyway.
By and then when you land a plane, regardless of whether it's private or commercial, you still pay wherever you land, right? So assuming I was flying to South Africa and I land my private jet, I would still have paid for landing, whatever. Is it landing charges? I don't know how you call it.
Same.
So those there are some costs that regardless of whichever method you take, you pay. So those ones we have to take them out. Because it doesn't matter which method you take.
Yeah, the 21,000 is just hiring the jet. You know, it has nothing to do with you're gonna.
Hold on. If you say just hiring the jet, that company that flew that jet, if they landed in South Africa, you think they were not going to pay some landing charges?
That is extra charges for you to pay. We're just talking about just how much it costs to rent that jet. You're going to pay for the crew to get hotels and all that. You're going to pay all that, but we're not counting all that. All we're counting is how much it just costs to get a jet with no gas in it. You just got the jet. Now you're going to use it. Whatever you pay whilst using it, that's your problem.
I don't know
what you're talking about.
Somebody needs to explain more because I don't know what security consideration.
Kwame.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Nana, go ahead.
Nana, by Kwame. Kwame, remember kakra.
Brim.
Yeah, remember kakra. Yes, in the pay president and his safetyness, right?
Right.
And see, one of them work planning. Wofigana and now Wonfigana. One Wonfigana. You might as well the care president. And so what can we no show so okay, they know. Into why the yellow boy, you only a president in the safetyness. At the same time, separating support one. Why the young for that Mexican yes sending young fan ye. Me, not the playman, Papa, your Kali war.
Yeah,
no crowd fault. You're not crowd free.
Yes, Papa, your Kali war. Why the one farmer? Okay, why the one farmer on your damazing in our I can't one.
No, so on your
certified.
On your safety.
On your certified.
Yeah, fly with you from Quantum.
No, as an American, yes, as an American. Listen. Just a county yellow big war, but I'm a more than any now we see. What kind of way sorry when you're viewing? Oh, I feel one apologies one apolo, no one chill him there as a way as a papa. On and all home.
The finance minister
okay, ye point your gun for ye, a commercian. Or dodge questions meaning now. Finance minister or parliament war, or should I would delay any time when we down process you or into a remember yano. I mean, on no home. As a why I find why you I would defend that away as a papa. Oh God. What defend as a papa? On no homo and pay for apart from you do. What's the matter?
Yeah, I'm missing Nyansa because Kwame still on mute if you mute. Because the Kwame can sound it and like Sana, we can risk analysis no more. It doesn't tie up. Something doesn't match. I mean, something is Kwame and Tonka still for some reason.
Nana Jose, I absolutely the responses now wasn't my no. Oh you buffoons and action now where you the responses now wasn't man. Now put to measure a buffuma.
Seriously.
Okay.
Obviously we buffu. Just over pachoro yan ye kind of yes one. One fan chain next time. You have a comfort food na ya yen wife. No. I feel the
Kwame,
whole painful
Kwame,
what carbon fight in defend the presidency. On your fine.
Kwame, Apache, like what would that solve? Like based on facts or there two I analyze the idea with. Kwame, why will you engage in this and later come and beg people? Like we don't even have to, because our analyst na in the security expert way, but common analysis Kwame, it doesn't appear there's any justification for this, other means that was taken, especially when you have one that was fixed. If they had gone with 11 people with fixed flight and the 4 people had flown now, I don't think anybody will have a problem, because flights, it became a whole issue. Some people got up and lambasted Kufuor for being foresighted and, and buying a plane for Ghana when Kufuor was not even going to use his planes. He was just ordering them for the next person who was coming to take over from him, just to secure the security of the president at the time. Until we knew about the security of our president long 8 years ago or 16 years ago, that we needed to secure the security of our president. And also we're getting a private jet. At the time, we just said, I'm paying phone to maybe I'm not rent. No,
they had a jet. They had a jet, but now Kufuor described as a flying coffin.
Oh, so everyone is in the Pakistan Canada. But
what the funny part is
private jet. So when we put our private jet and now when we rent it again.
The funny part is this trip, the president was going to Europe to, number one, beg for debt forgiveness. Say secondly, we're going to borrow $175 million to come and establish a bank that we've already dissolved 4 banks already. That's another topic for another day. So the finance minister and the deputy finance minister who was going to lead the charge were part of the people who took the commercial flight. Deal with that.
Huh?
The finance minister and the deputy finance minister
even who are leading fight
leading charge, commercial flight.
I mean, charge. Who can charge? Which of the charge?
They're charged to go and beg for the 175.
Beg for the money. Finance minister and the deputy, when they questioned him, said, "Where was he?" Or no, say of our commercial flight in
Let me ask you a question.
So they went on separate trips, commercial flight. Not so how is that related to this? Like
no. See, you are getting a bigger plane to put the most important people you have for your trip. And trip now con a sika now kwakosre. Finance minister say ene kwako meki eyi. Omo na kwako diweni go make case for the sika. Omo mama for commercial flight. So
Kwame.
I just said,
Kwame,
reasons our money.
Kwame, what's it then? Finance minister na kwa jisika na bro. Finance minister
no, bro. So the president is not an expert in everything.
Okay,
that is why he has the finance minister to deal with anything money.
Okay,
we're going to go ask for debt forgiveness, money.
Who is
borrow
a better
money,
person
money.
to explain it?
Your experts at your finance department, or more of a commercial flight to meet you in Paris. So who did you hire this extra spaced plane for? If the most important people to go help you do your job are on a commercial flight.
So Kwame, what was the nature? What was the nature of the entourage? What were those extra people going to do?
Nobody knows. We don't know.
So somebody has to provide that information, because why would it become necessary for these extra people to go with the president and then to charter a flight? What were they going to do? These extra people.
See, when they were talking about chartering a bigger plane, everybody thought duly the finance minister and his team were going to be on the flight discussing issues before they get to Paris. No. Deputy Minister, yeah, veteran no car, so omo group no there, omo the commercial plane. Air France.
Well, the commercial flight no was friend.
Omo commercial flight omo the koy. Omo koy adwuma na kasa no. Omo the commercial flight.
Omo timing, omo go different time. No, someone go the same time.
They went the same time, sir. Because it's all accounted for in the same travel budget.
No, but it can be accounted for in the same travel budget, but you can go at different times, right?
Okay, let's say they went on a different day.
It's all the same. Well, on a different day, but it's all for the same purpose. You can only account for one trip on each budget.
But here's a joke.
I have a more question, Mpacho. So at this point, have we abandoned the idea of Ghana without aid completely?
Like, yeah.
But who said Ghana without aid? Who said that?
That was Akufo-Addo, but that's gone.
No, Akufo never said Ghana without aid. Ghana beyond aid is different from Ghana without aid.
I'm sorry.
No, Masa.
I'm sorry.
Let's go
beyond aid, no cry sounds worse. So Ghana beyond aid.
No, yes, it's not worse. It's not semantic. Kwame, words mean something. Kwame, is and where. You can't tell me they are semantics. Is and where, even though they are two words, you can't tell me they are semantics. So let's be very careful to just dismiss stuff and say, let's quote people on what they say and analyze them on what they say. That is how you get into a fair, debate, or you engage somebody.
I mean,
I stand corrected. So Ghana beyond aid, right? Which would then indicate Ghana beyond aid means that Ghana must be self-sufficient.
By Nana Akufo-Addo.
But that doesn't mean Ghana doesn't need aid. And I think
that's what Ghana beyond aid means. Because
no, Ghana beyond aid doesn't mean Ghana doesn't need aid. That is not what it means, unless my English is wrong. To go beyond something
means you don't need it.
No,
that means you are above it.
No,
yes, it is to exceed the standard at which you needed aid.
No, that is not.
Oh, so now our synonyms don't work. Beyond. You way past it. I'm way past aid.
No. That doesn't mean you don't need it. Yeah, you want to. That is your objective, to go beyond past that, right?
Okay, let's see. But does that mean that we even need more loans than we did before?
Okay.
Oh, Kwame, it could be possible, because if you don't need aid, what would be the alternative, right? So that's why you have to interrogate. You have to interrogate that concept better.
Oh, right.
It could be possible, because if you say beyond aid and you don't need aid, then what else will you need? How are you going to survive? So my thinking is that
by being self-sufficient.
By being self-sufficient doesn't also mean you don't need loan, right?
What's the word when you know?
People who are self-sufficient doesn't mean they don't need loan.
Wait a second. The very essence of being self-sufficient is not needing aid. That is the point of self-sufficiency, right? This is the reason we educate our kids, we get them into good schools so that they can be self-sufficient at some point, so we're not supporting them. That is the entire premise of self-sufficiency. Exactly. And we're not saying beyond aid. We're not putting words in the government and the president's mouth as what he meant with beyond aid, because in his own words, in his own vision, Ghana beyond aid was Ghana being at a point where we didn't need to beg for anything. So I'm asking, have we just abandoned that vision? Are we still working on that vision?
No. That vision is far gone.
Why will you say it's far gone? Why will you abandon the vision?
Now, first of all, at the moment, we've borrowed more within 5 years than what we borrowed from independence until 5 years ago. We are in more debt and have no physical structures to show for.
Kwame, I'm a finance person, so when you raise this issue,
we have cathedral.
When you raise these issues, I'm tempted to think that it's misleading. It's misleading in so many ways. So I always ask the people the simple question. I always ask people this simple question, just to not make it even complex for anybody. If all what you said is true, and that reflects what you're saying, in the past we weren't at this level, but we're in an IMF bailout. How come we are at this level that we are talking about, and yet the country is not in that situation? So you see,
I'm sorry. The country is not in what situation? Our GDP.
Oh,
I'll get to that.
Let Hansen come in because
okay.
One question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Koji Sikano, right? Also, yeah, the car already. It's right. Just imagine, say, who could do France and now on San Cancer Sikana, right? So, okay, I don't know what's it.
Well, not just say the Canada because.
But you know, Kojino. So we're saying, so a lot of friends.
But this is why I come in again. And this is why I think we make things look too simple than they are. President Bia and Sana be sorry, say woko baby sa sign ceremony no. And yes, on ako negotiate that work would have been done behind the scene long before. All we are going to do is just the ceremonial part of it.
Sure.
So you get the assurance before you even move. Yeah, what could do on that day now no more Kotanasi. Now no more because no more. It doesn't work like that.
Bank of America. Bank of America.
This is the problem. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in this space. So you see, this becomes a problem. This becomes a problem because what simplify idea no. You think that somebody will give you 175 million by just one day flying to them and talking to them, and that day now they sign the papers for you and give you the money. Come on.
Well, with that entourage of 20, maybe. But
no. I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that. International government relations and it doesn't work like that. That is completely
everything was done behind the scenes, right?
Oh yes, that is how government works. Your foreign minister or your people would have negotiated.
Hansen has a follow-up.
Okay, everything is behind the scene. Okay, now behind the scene, no, and to which is that 20,000 number the coin a year profit margin analysis, because right now no can
the problem
okay
problem flight while plane choir sasa kano sa low now kano and then I can want some say
you're one already, right? And in this case, no, you free Kotoka France I say that Ghana plane no, you been spending.
And then they say question, and then the question is be some. Say the analyzer can say yeah, or the who has some work about.
Say the na other than to me fan say.
And yeah, that they say. Yes,
say Hansen. One day on that I'm Sunyani Sana, we go to girl, you know. Oh, soon I'll do very nice. And I'm saying, then of course, the boyfriend, I can't on fat taxi in Philly and Brano. I don't catch on Onisika. I don't see, Oba, me, I met a taxi driver. Oba, let's send the boyfriend and emergency society with PA. Taxi driver was saying, so I think
as long as I'm returning also.
That could have happened to your coin and Kenya alone now. I
can't say. You see, they
come more. But that aside, see, then I say these issues. This is more on a lighter note. These issues are discussed way before they even get there. It's what discuss here, and I see by this color. I know who's cruiser. I know who's I know who jet out the country.
And provide information on encourage, because it might not be just that one ceremony. There might be somebody has to provide more information. I don't know.
I think it could have been more of.
It could have been some other related something.
I think it would have been more.
Yeah,
I think they went to Belgium. They went to other places. They might have gone to discuss other things.
But flight, no more renting it here. And I think
it's a no.
More answers than what we are getting.
Oh yeah. I mean, the finance minister was supposed to provide more information. Because but he went to Parliament today and still said he didn't have time.
Yeah.
So he didn't answer the question.
No. He told them they should give him more time.
Problem now, so Mukaku no munya the same amount of figure now on cost per day. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, but on the
Ghanaian pace. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So the explanation be about the entire.
On a more serious note, I think, you see, we are public servant. We have to be sensitive to, especially a country. Maybe you do know, Kwame. You know, make us say, Uncle Four are not too. Some Uncle Four are not too happy about so many things in our country.
Yeah, you're happy, and you're Uncle Four. Yeah.
Happy. Yes, people are not too happy about so many things in our country. One of the mature, because people, a lot of Uncle Four want to see a lot of changes, dramatic changes, and piecemeal changes. One of the mature,
right?
And so, Sanema, we know if woman boil up ne pile up. I mean, baby, when these people explode, Adiebi and Kasabi in a normal tank, Ubia and Fanny and Yasem. Uncle for the Bay some big time, one of the amateur, and it can lead to some uncontrollable, consequences for you. And we need to be very careful because Sani man can get you it's piling up. And one little one beer, and nobody less even harmful than we know is the one that will lead to, saying
issue with there. So now it's a Ghana for the funu.
We are getting to a point as how you do funu now. We'll get to that point. It's a man Ghana for the funu. We'll stop all these nonsense. You don't feel into it's
so bad, sir. Defense minister, any minister for interior.
And yes, be like you. I don't know, like Ghana yes, Ghana and Kwana country at home. So developing crew now it could do cemetery and here 2 cemetery nephew.
Charlie, I think we are about 20 minutes past my time.
Oh,
so we have to wrap up. I know. You know what? We're going to continue with this next week. Hansen, I have brand because
we're starting time.
I think next week. Everybody should think of ways that Ghana can declare bankruptcy because I think that at this point that's the solution.
Oh geez. See,
please think about that and let's come back next week.
It's so bad, say. The Minister of Defense and Minister of Interior just announced yesterday that Ghana is at the threat of Boko Haram attacking us from the northern border. And no Ghanaian is even bothered about that. Almost still. Bullion van and aeroplane.
No. Kwame.
You still have to answer.
No. Kwame. Mame true bibia Ghana. You say Ghana no. Yeah, photocopy of all nations, right? And say who say America for soldiers a year. Ghana say be the same. Yeah, she drama.
Yeah,
she that man say who say America police shoot you. Ghana police for no more nyum we here say.
Right.
Everything Biana, you would the same, but any the same purpose now.
If the police make news in America, it's a Ghana police who make
yes.
But just say America, then they'll be saving somebody drowning. Now you say a boy jama way yes. Okay.
So what they say?
What they say about?
Yeah, you know, the extinguisher call.
All right, Charlie. I think we should call it a day. I mean, if anybody has something short to say, I'm going to meet you, Nana. I think, sir, we should call it a day. I think we've done enough. We've went past our time, and I'm still going to think about the lorry fare that they took to Paris.
Kwame, but
that's funny, man.
Kwame, but you know, the statement no make it look like. Did we have to pay for salary fare?
Right.
That should be the way we should ask the question. Because if it's a loan, no crana, salary fare, you have to pay for it.
Right. But how to better that? Like I signed the cow. I signed the cow 2.8 million.
I'm looking say okay,
oh yeah.
I don't think for me that is the way.
No, say omunya alone, no man should be able, you know. When I say
Yeah.
Oh, all right, Charlie. It's here for me there. I think we should. We are that was it. It's been a very nice.
You're looking at final words now.
I think we are way past our time. And then the month for final words in Chairman. Why? No, next week.
You know what?
I'll give you back 1 minute. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Master Make, Kaka Make, the Ghana, yes, that one. Bibisa, Wamba out, Wamba Chemu, Wamba Chemu. Na as in Fiko, Momo won't defend on Noya Oma as an oya yo. And see a second and Bibisa. I won't one year board, one blout, one much and pepe. Momo won't defend your one chow. You the Ghana wires and yes, Ramana. Micho Bibiara. And that's it.
All right. That's it.
For the Parkus.
All right. Well, it feels soon, but I think we're way past like 24 minutes past our time. We'll meet you next week. It's been a very nice and funny episode. Next week, we're just going to continue with the same thing. We're going to do this for about 2 months, and then we're going to move on to another topic. So until next week, it's bye for now. I really need a